That's when I realized I had been shot. From there, I think the panic was more than the pain. I would have thought that I would have recovered mentally easier than physically. My name is Catherine Wanjeri. I'm a journalist by profession, working for Media Max Network Limited in Nakuru County, working for Kameme TV and Kameme Radio in Nakuru. Basically, I'm a storyteller, but I don't know how to convince people and tell them stories. So I decided, and I realized the best place and the best incidents to give my stories is through being a journalist, and also being able to inform them about the happenings. And I really love covering current affair stories. The most interesting story I've ever covered is the story that I covered in Subukia County. With this time and age that there are people who still don't embrace family planning, I went and covered a family that had a very young lady. I think she was in 28 years, and she had, I think, 10 kids. That was a funny and a very sorrowful incident for me, because the environment that the woman and the husband and the kids were living in was very bad, a very bad incident. And actually, the reason as to why I became interested in that story is because three of her kids had taken poisonous mushrooms. So that's when I got interested in knowing the story. It was an impactful story because by the end of the day, we were able to convince the lady to get the rightful way of living, and that's how to take family planning and leave those norms, those religious norms out of their lives. As we all know, there were the Gen Z protests. They have been against of us calling those protests Gen Z protests, but the anti-finance bill protest, and they had started in June here in Kenya last year. And 1 month later, 3 weeks later, when I was covering, that was on July 16th, 2024. I think I was an hour old when I had gotten to Nakuru CBD, and the protests actually intensified so fast. And while we were covering the protests, there were some police officers who came, and within no time of them coming along the Kenyatta Avenue in Nakuru CBD, I was shot 3 times on my thigh, and I fell down, of course, because of the panic. And previously, I thought that I had been hit by a tear gas canister, because I didn't feel any pain. I just felt some heat on my thigh. So when I put my hand on the thigh, that's when I realized there was some blood that was oozing from my thigh, and that's when I realized I had been shot. And from there, I think the panic was more than the pain. So I was taken to hospital. I think hours later, I was taken to the theater. The bullets were removed, and I started recovering in one of the hospitals in Nakuru County. Like I always say, we always undermine the mental health recovery. We undermine it because if I were asked, I would have thought that I would have recovered mentally easier than physically. But unfortunately, the physical part of my healing was faster than my mental healing. Mental healing is quite a journey. It's not an easy thing, and it's a process that you cannot equate with time. You cannot say that you're going to do it in 1 month, in 2 months, in 1 year. It can take you even forever too, because you will be left with physical wounds, and you get in physical wounds, you've been injured in your line of duty. So it has not been easy. The mental part of it has been a struggle. No matter how much I've tried, I always find myself getting the relapses. And to the Kenya media sector, I want to applaud all those organizations and associations that came forth for me. The KJ, the Amwik, they all came, and they have been with me throughout this journey. And I believe that with time, everything will be okay. With the incidents that happened, actually, I feel I pushed myself too far when I was in the process of recovery. I went back to work too soon, and I remember last year in December, I'd gone to cover some incident, but I didn't know that they were going to involve some police officers. And unfortunately, when I was covering those the protests, the demos, there were some demos in Gilgil sub-county. And in December last year, that's when I realized that the mental journey is not as easy as we think, because when one of the police officers started shooting in the air and threw a tear gas canister near me, I collapsed. And hours later, that's when I realized what had happened to me, because I collapsed and became unconscious, and I had to be transported from Kongasis, where there are no roads, to Nakuru city, where I could get medical attention. So it has not been an easy journey, as much as I would want to be a journalist, even with the threats that I had received previously from unknown people. It made me feel like it's like I'm in the wrong career, but it's something that I've always wanted to do. So the passion always pushes me, despite all the risk and all the dangers that are ahead of me. At some point, it was very frustrating. As much as I would say, I can say I'm partially happy, because the IPOA reached out to me last week and they told me that they have concluded on my investigation and they're going to give my file to the board. And then that board will give my file to the ODPP, who are going to prosecute. So it's also still a process, because it has taken more than 6 months for the IPOA to conclude an investigation. So I don't know with the new board, because we were told the reason as to why this process has been taking long is because there was the board, there was to be placed a new board at IPOA. So when the new board came on board, I hope that they are going to work on it very fast, because I don't know, I cannot tell because I'm not an investigator, but I hope and pray that now that the hardest part of the investigation has been concluded, whatever is needed from that IPOA board will be instant, and I can get my justice at last. I will put this baton on the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki. He was in Nakuru last year. There was the I don't know, the care guard or something, and in that event he said that he's going to make sure, once the new board is in place, that he's going to make sure that I get my justice. It's now on him. The new board is in place. I hope and pray he will keep his word, and I'm going to get my justice as soon as possible. Just like he said, it's going to be very instant. It was in December, so I hope now that the file is at place, he can be able to help me get my justice, because I believe by the end of the day, it's the people that he was the CS at that particular time under his docket that did this to me. So I hope that he's going to keep his word and I can get my justice. All I can pray is that as I get my justice as a journalist of this Republic of Kenya, I pray and wish that those other people who were shot in this anti-financial bill protest will also get their justice, because there's no less human in this country.